So in the previous sections, we learned how to find the mean, median, and mode of a list of data. And in B2 and B3, we're going to be working with data that's given in a frequency table. So the easiest way to do this is just to jump right in and do the examples, and you'll see how to do it from that. So we'll start with example 4. The table below shows the number of aces served by tennis players in their first sets of a tournament. And so here's the data. And this is the way that the data was given in the problem, and it's not written, it's not a very convenient way of organizing data to actually do calculations. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make my own table. Number of aces. I'm going to make it so this one's so that it's formatted vertically. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then the frequency 4, 11, 18, 13, 7, and 2. And I haven't even told you what we're finding here. We're going to find the mean, median, and mode. And we'll go ahead and do them in that order. In order to find the mean, we have to understand the data. So this says that there were 4 aces. So that means, and there were 11 twos. And so if you were to have 4 that were 1s, that'd be a total of 4. So you're going to have a column where you total, and I'm trying to remember what it's a total. Oh, you know what? I'm remembering the notation the book used. This is X, this is F for frequency, and then you're going to multiply X times F to get the total. And they might have called it something else. But anyway, it's 1 times 4, 2 times 11, 3 times 18. You have to forgive me, it's at the end of the day and I am a little tired, so that's 54. 4 times 13 is 52, 5 times 7 is 35, 6 times 2 is 12. I know it's not called the total. Let me look in my notes and see. Oh, it's the product, yeah. I knew that. This should say product. Because normally to get the mean, you would add 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. Well, that's 4. You'd add 2 plus 2 plus 2 11 times. That's 22. So that's why you're doing the product here. And then when we find the mean, we need to add all of these up to get the total. And that's the summation of the XFs equals. And when you add all those up, which I did ahead of time, so I'll look in my notes here. I got 179 when I did it. And then, so when you're finding the mean, you have to do the total divided by how many there were. Well, the frequency tells you how many there were, so you have to actually add the frequency column as well. So the summation of the F's. And that comes to 55. So now the mean is pretty easy to find. Come over here and write it. I'll write out what I did. We're going to do the summation of the product, X times F, over the summation of the frequencies. So that's 179 divided by 55 equals 3.25. Squish it in there. So on average, the aces, there were about 3.25 aces. I'm just kind of looking at the data and making sure that looks reasonable. Yep, there were a lot. By the way, I'm also seeing this is actually the mode, isn't it? Because 3 was the most common. So the mode is part C. Here I can't resist skipping ahead to the mode because it just pops right out at me. 3 occurred the most number of times. So the mode is actually 3, the number of aces. 3 aces was the mode, the most common. And then we'll do the median, which is the middle. So you can't just go to the middle of these numbers. That's just not the way it's going to work, because you have to think about these frequencies. If you were to list all these numbers out, you know, you'd have 4 1s, 11 2s, 18 3s. You're going to have this huge list of numbers, and somewhere in the middle, that's the one we need to find. So let's use the median formula. It's going to be very helpful in this situation when you have so many values. So I already know from here that I have 55 values. So remember the median formula is n plus 1 over 2. And so that's 55 plus 1 divided by 2, 56 divided by 2. And I have to think, so half of 50 is 25, half of 6 is 3. So that's 28. So what that means is the 28th data value will be the median. The median is not 28 itself, it's the 28th item. So I have to now, oh, guess what? There's a way we can do this pretty nicely, is we can make a cumulative frequency column. By the way, on this one, I like to do the x times the f, because if you write fx, it looks too much like f of x. So that's why I'm writing it this way, to remind you that it's a product, not a function. So the cumulative frequency, I can't recall if we've already talked about this or not. I'll assume we haven't. You go to your frequencies. So the first, you have 4 of them. You write that down. And then you add 11 more, so 15. And then you add 18 to that. And I've gotten these. So 15 plus 18 is 33. 33 plus 13 is 46. 46 plus 7 is 53. 53 plus 2 is 55. And this number, by the time you get down to here, it should equal this number. These should be the same because you've added up all the frequencies. So now, our median is the 28th item. So 4 plus 15, I'll go to a different color. 4 plus 15, that's the 19th item, is that last 11. And then if I add 33 to that, that's 12, 1, 52. So the 28th item is going to be somewhere in this row, and that means that the median is also 3. So the median, here I am getting like, what should I do? Erase that. Okay, the median is 3. So when you're doing this, if it gets confusing, just think about that these frequencies are telling you that these numbers are listed out like 1, 1, 1, 1. There's 11 twos, a bunch of those, and then there's 18 threes, a whole bunch of those, And so if you kind of think about that, it'll help you make sense of what you're doing here in this table. Hopefully. Great. So that's actually B2 right there in a nutshell. And now we'll do B3. B3, I have an example prepared for that. Estimate the mean of the following ages of bus drivers to the nearest year. So that's all we're asked to do on this problem. We just want to find the mean. Now the thing that's different about this is that up here, this age category, we don't have a specific single age in each one of these. We have a range of ages. And if we're asked to find the mean, we can't do this perfectly because we don't know exactly what the ages were between 21 and 25. There were 11 of them, but we don't know the exact numbers. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take the average of each one of these class intervals, and we're going to use that value. So these are pretty, these are easy enough. You can think of the average in your head or the middle number between 21 and 25 in your head. If you have numbers that are more difficult to work with, remember to get the middle, you can average them. 21 plus 25 divided by 2. Or 1 plus 5 is 6, 6 divided by 2 is 3. So 23 would be the middle age. But before I get too far ahead of myself, you know what I need to do is I need to go back, get rid of this, and make this a vertical chart. And the reason is because I'm going to need to add some columns. And I can't do that when it's written the way it is. I'll just come out here a bit. So 21 to 25, 26 to 30, and so on. And then the frequency, just copying down from the table above. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, these ages up here, I'm going to put them in their own column. I'm trying to remember what I call them, midpoint age. So the middle of 26 and 30 is 28, and then the next one would be 33, and then 38, 43, 48, 53. And now it's just like the previous example we did. We have a frequency, so that's our F column, and then we have the X value. And so we're going to multiply those together and get the product, a column for the product. X, I'm going to write it as X times F. So I'm going to be multiplying 11 times 23 and so on. I've already calculated those ahead of time to save time. 253, 392, 1056, 1026, 1247, 816, 371. And we're finding the mean, so it's the same formula that we used last time. It's going to be the sum of the products divided by the sum of the frequencies. So that means we need to add all these up. And again, to save time, I've done that ahead of time. It's 5161. And then, so that's going to be up here. And then the summation of the frequencies is 137. 137. Divide those and you get 38. Well, oh, yeah, when you divide it, you get about 37.67. But then it did say to round to the nearest year. That rounds up to 38, of course, years. Oops, I just dropped the pen again, but guess what? I superglued it, so it's not going to break. You know what else I wanted to do? I wanted to show you, if you have a long list of data, you can save a lot of time, even with this problem. Since I did all this math for you, these products and these sums, it wasn't that bad. But if you're doing this on your own and you're getting tired of the tedium of it, there's a nice way to do this on the calculator. So I'm going to show you how to do that right now. And it's all in the list. It's on the Stat button. So we're going to go to Stat. We need to enter our data. We're going to enter it in L1 and L2. So hit edit. And I can't recall if we've done this. I don't think we've worked with this much in this class yet this year. So I'm going to assume that you either have never seen this before or you're a little rusty on it. We don't want to use these ages because obviously we're not going to use them in the calculations. So, and I'm going to be consistent and make my first column be the X's. So I'm going to put the midpoint ages in the first column. And follow along with me on your calculators so that you can practice this. 43, 48, and 53. And there's 8 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What? Oh yeah, I'm on 8. Never mind. There's 7 of them. That works. Great. Then we're going to arrow over to the right. And in L2, we're going to put the frequencies. 11, 14, 32, 27, 29, 17, and 7. Enter. Arrow to the right. Now we're going to make the calculator find the product for us. We could put a formula in, and to do this, we're going to arrow, so you're up here at L3, you're going to arrow up to the top. You have to hit enter. You have to get a flashing cursor down here, and then you can type in the formula. So we want to multiply L1 times L2. So L1 is second 1, so you're going to do the second 1, and then you better hit the times button, and then second 2. So it's going to multiply L1 and L2 for us, and just hit enter, and you get all those numbers. Okay, so that's the first cool thing. The second cool thing is we can get our calculator to sum these columns for us as well. What I'm going to do is come over here. I'm going to label these. I have my X in L1. It's really important to label these. My F's are in L2 and my product is in L3. So in order to sum, you're going to go to a blank screen, second quit, and you're going to go back to your stat button. And I do believe it's under calc. Maybe not. You can see I haven't done this in a while. Oh, never mind. It's not under that. It's under, so back up. It's actually under second stat. There we go. Ops. Okay, so it's second stat and then ops. And we want a sum, which is down here somewhere, I hope. Oh my goodness. What if I've told you wrong? Okay, it must be under math. Okay, so it's under math. You can see I'm rusty on this myself. Go over to math and then go down to sum. So math 5. Oh, so it's not ops. So we got to fix this. It's not ops, it's math. And then 5 for sum. Okay, enter. And then we want to sum the product. That's in L3. So second 3. And you know what? We could actually, well, we want to know what it is, right? So we'll hit enter. So there it is, 5161. And then we can do second stat, which is list. Kind of think of a list. You're summing a list. That's how you can remember where to find it. Go over to math 5 for sum. And this time we need to sum the frequencies. And those are in L2 because I wrote that down and paid attention. Enter. And there's the 137. So that gives you this, and then of course you can divide them and get the answer. Or you could have done sum L3 divided by sum L2 all at once and gotten it to do it all at once for you. Well, that was kind of fun, but now we're done. So moving on next time, huh?